Hello everybody, welcome to Contentment Guide Astrology. I am Michelle. This video is about the full moon in Pisces, either on the 17th or 18th of September, depending on where you are in the world. And this is also a partial lunar eclipse. So there are a lot of active aspects during this full moon, lots of energies in the play, and as per the last few months, a lot of change and growth and real alchemy of transformation is totally possible during this full moon. So I've made a few videos on the minor grand trine that is in the sky at the moment between Pluto, Neptune and Uranus. And at this full moon, these energies are also in play in terms of the full moon, and the sun is actually forming a kite formation, pointing right at the moon and Neptune during this full moon. So Pluto will be at 29 Capricorn, Uranus at 27 Taurus, the sun at 25 Virgo, the moon at 25 Pisces, and Neptune at 28 Pisces. So I would say, to keep it simple, find out where Pisces falls in your chart, and secondly, see if you have any planets in the vicinity of the last 15 or 10 or 15 degrees of Pisces, because then this is going to impact you very directly. So the sun is opposite Neptune and it is conjunct the moon. And this means that this is definitely a full moon where there can be a lack of clarity because the moon is so closely conjunct with Neptune. The sun is shining its light in that direction. Things can feel unclear. At the same time, the higher octave of that is to feel really expansive and to have a real view of cosmic clarity in terms of something that's happening in your life. So I know that sounds confusing and you know, the planetary symbology can be confusing in the sense that there's always a lot of things at play, and there are always so-called positives and negatives at play, and there are also lower and higher frequencies of the same symbologies and energies at play at the same time. So you will have to see where this happens for you in your chart, and also exactly how you are going to deal with this Neptunian energy, because it can be super expansive. It can give you that eagle's eye view. It can really help you to see a very expansive view of your life, and specifically the Pisces area of your chart. And also, these things are not always mutually exclusive, you know. Sometimes we go through a period of confusion and unclarity in order to arrive at a place of clarity. So I would say just accept all of these energies that are in the air at the moment, and work with it and see where you get to after this full moon, and also for the 2 weeks after this full moon. So with the moon being so close to Neptune, this is a very good time to retreat, spend some time alone, and really go inward. Focus on maybe creative projects, focus on your spirituality, and being with inward things can really bring you a lot of clarity at this point. And playing with more what your experience is and what experiences you would like to have at this time, instead of trying to focus on very, very definitive goals. The playing with the energy and the experience is going to feel more expansive and more likely to get you to where you would like to end up at this point in time. So with Neptune, there's always also the possibility that there are tricksters around, that there are people who are trying to confuse you or unintentionally confusing you through communication or whatever they are offering. So I would suggest at this time to really take time, not give a definitive yes or no too quickly when it comes to communication, and try to get to some sense of clarity before you say yes or no to something. And also with Neptune, there's always a possibility of wanting to escape reality. And as with anything, there's definitely a place and a time for this. But yes, just use your discernment and be careful when it comes to trying to escape, and be more aware of when escape is really valuable and when it's more valuable to really to try and stay grounded and aware of what is happening in reality. So at this time, we also have Mercury directly opposite Saturn. And this really adds another element to this full moon, that also adds to my previous point of rather taking time before making decisions, before saying yes or no to something, because with Mercury opposite Saturn, there is chances of feelings of doubt. Mercury is to do with communication, the mind, it's to do with commerce and business. And Saturn brings in that element of a slowdown, a no, a doubtful energy. So there's definitely energies of judgment and criticism involved when Saturn is at play. And this really adds to the previous point of not making definitive or very quick decisions when it comes to this full moon, but rather giving yourself some time for these full moon energies to pass before decisions are made. So Saturn also has this other element where it can really bring some structure and demand some excellence. So if you are at a point in your journey where you are really able to make some structured decisions and deal with some really high choices and demanding excellence of yourself, then this is also something to consider at this full moon. So with Saturn being involved, there is also a seriousness at this full moon, and it's opposite Mercury. So we can be having some very deep and serious conversations, or even just having thoughts and working for ourselves through some very deep things and some very serious things. Saturn brings the element of seriousness. So this is definitely a time to be having more serious conversations. But again, take your time, have the conversation, walk away, come back, have it again. Don't make any definitive decisions until you really feel that you've got proper clarity around something. So at the time of the full moon, we have another healing element at play, and that is Venus is exactly opposite Chiron. So Venus is at 23 of Libra, and Chiron is at 22 and a bit of Aries. And this can really help us to explore communication and relationships at this time. It can help you to bring some curiosity and kindness. With Venus and Libra, trying to find balance and equilibrium, and seeing and healing old wounds. Not always a comfortable thing, but always so satisfying to go through seeing things we didn't see before, and being able to heal things that we were not able to heal before. So the story of this full moon feels a bit unclear because of Neptune, because of Saturn being the energy of holding us back. And I think as humans, this is sometimes a struggle for us. But I would like to add to this point that at some times in life, this is exactly where we are need to be. When we are in this unclear space, it actually helps us to investigate deeper, because sometimes we are so inclined to think we know exactly what a situation is about, we know exactly what a person is about. And so I invite you to really play with this unclarity, because I think it's going to help us to go deeper, to understand ourselves better, to understand others and our relationships better. And with Chiron and Libra, to stay open, with Chiron and Venus, to stay open to new ways of seeing relationships and situations, and being able to work with things in new ways. So ultimately, all energies are good energies. Whatever shows up is exactly as it's meant to be at this time. So work with this unclarity, work with this energy of Saturn, of maybe not knowing exactly what is happening, or needing to move slower, or needing to find some structure before you move forward with a decision. So as per usual, I also got some guidance from the Ching for this full moon, and I got hexagram 58, which then changes into hexagram 48 with the changing lines. So 58 speaks very much to the Mercury and communication element, and it also speaks to the Neptune element of this full moon. The words are open, expression, and joy. Communication, exchanging information, and harmonizing. Agreement may not be reached at this time, but find ways to express yourself anyway. Guard against being rigid and try to stay open. So these words of hexagram 58 really work so beautifully with the energies of the planets at the time of the full moon. And then the hexagram changes to 48, which is the well. And this speaks more to clarity, but it speaks to real depth. So it means that the deeper, you need to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the well to find your clarity. And it says go deep into communication until you find the clear water of clarity. Shift ideas if you need to. Find a solid center inside yourself. Find the place inside you that never changes. recognize that all beings are at their essence the same. So I think this is beautiful guidance for this full moon. I think going very deeply into this knowing that at our essence we are all the same, it can really help us to bring kindness and openness in the communications that we need to have with ourselves and with others at the time of this full moon. So I also drew a tarot card and I got the Page of Swords. As you can see, this is a beautiful sunshiny day. There are some clouds around, there are some birds flying around, and there's a blue sky. The swords are often to do with the mind and also to do with clarity. So this card also plays with the energies of being unclear or finding clarity at this full moon. So the Page of Swords is specifically to do with new ideas, staying curious. And this curiosity also plays into the communication. And what I said before, of not thinking immediately that we know exactly what a situation or a person is about, and not dealing with things that are just on the surface. But as the Ching said, going deep into the well to find the clarity and taking time to really get to see what the situation or a person or the communication or the experience is about. It's a thirst for knowledge, and it's also about finding new ways of communication. So yes, there's definitely something with Mercury being in the opposite sign with the Sun, and the Moon being with Neptune, that there's something about this full moon that is very much about communication and finding that intuitive place of knowing when it's okay to still be in the unclear place, when you are ready to move into clarity. So I wish you a beautiful full moon lunar eclipse, and find where Pisces falls in your chart and where you could be having some new movement, some reversals, some new things happening in your chart in the Pisces area with the eclipse. With eclipses, they can be active before the eclipse and even up to 6 months after. So there's definitely a storyline in Pisces at the moment, and it's just starting to start because when the lunar nodes move into Pisces and Virgo at the beginning of next year, then we are going to deal with more of the Pisces and Virgo energies. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this video and watching this video. And please like, share, and subscribe. I am trying to get to 100 followers at the moment, and I am open to doing personal readings. Please contact me. The link will be below, and I will see you next time.